Hi, this is Darren.
And this is Sandy from Trekking the Planet. Well, today we're in Montreux, Switzerland, and we just finished our Swiss Alpine Pass trek a couple days ago, and we needed a little time to process it before we actually made this video. So here's our recap. Basically, it was an amazing trek. I think unlike anything we'd ever done.
21 days.
21 days, 220 miles or so. We had all different kinds of weather. We had fog, rain, hail, wind, some heat. We even walked over some snow at one of the passes. Saw lots of cows, of course, with their bells, so beautiful. But I think what we really took away from it was just the incredible scenery we saw the entire time. Of course, the mountains, waterfalls, just lakes and rivers. It's just hard to put in words how amazing it was. Very difficult trek, but very, very worthwhile. So Darren, how do you even begin to talk about this trek and what we saw and experienced?
I don't know, it's just so amazing. I think it was my favorite of the four that we did.
Yeah, it was really different than the other
And it was
three.
interesting, the progression that from Camino on, each one was progressively more difficult, and I think we were well prepared. We had a few physical issues, blisters and things like that, just general exhaustion.
Yeah, especially the last 3 days of our trek, this trek. We hiked 46 miles the last 3 days, and I think it was probably over 10,000 feet elevation gain over those 3 days, and probably at least that much going down. So it's really hard the last few days. And I think also, you and I commented a lot about how steep it was, going up and going down.
Right.
A lot of literally straight up climbing, probably sometimes even for a couple of hours, and then down too.
And it wasn't, super pristine like you'd see on the PCT, the Pacific Crest Trail, and on the west coast of California. We were going through a lot of farms and things like that. In fact, I coined this new thing that I call it the cheese economy. We were going through these tiny farms. It's not a corporate farm. These are tiny little farms, maybe 20, 40 acres, and maybe 20, 40 cows, and they come here for the summer, and the cows eat, and then they take their cows back. In fact,
we got to see that.
We saw till the cows come home.
What you call that? Yeah, it was amazing. We happened to stumble upon that. It was in our guidebook that this happens end of August, beginning of September. We thought we'd be maybe a little bit early to see it, but we actually got to see it on one of the last days of our trek. It was so neat to see it with the cow, with the flowers on their heads.
In fact, let's take a look.
Up, 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 up.
Well, that was fun.
Yeah, that was, again, if we'd been 5 minutes later or earlier, we would have missed that. So that was really something we just stumbled upon, which made it really fun. How about some of the other surprises on the trip? Like, I think there were a couple gorges that we got to go through, one after we left Lenk, and then one right before we got here to Montreux.
Right, the one just here in Montreux as we were coming down off the mountain, very steep, coming into Lake Geneva. That was a big surprise.
Again, I was a little tired by that point, but it was amazing. We'd done 17 miles that day, but it was beautiful. Also, some of the passes we went over, I mean, there were all different kinds of passes. Some of them were very meadowy, full of lots of mud and lots of cows. Some of them were very alpine-y and rocky and had scree and even had cables. And of course, probably one of our favorite passes, the one with the stairs.
The stairs, yeah.
The stair pass. And we went through both the German part of Switzerland on this hike as well as the French part just the last day and a half. And it was funny, right when you got to the first French pass, we literally were seeing people coming the other way saying bonjour, bonjour, all of a sudden just out of the blue, so it was a real abrupt change from German to French. But what about some of the food?
The food is good. It's all natural, it's like farm to table. It's from their
literally.
farm or from the farm across the street or something like that. So all the meat and the cheese.
And fresh bread, fresh preserves. Yeah. Yeah,
so that we had that almost every
the
morning.
breakfasts were fantastic because we could really load up on them, and big buffets. Even in these little bird guest houses and the mountain guest houses that we stayed in some of the places, we tried to divide our time between staying in towns and then tried to stay up in the Alps, actual Alps themselves, in these little tiny guest houses. So we really got, I think, a real nice experience by doing that.
The only problem was you just couldn't eat enough.
Yeah,
For
hiking all day.
I'm going to be writing a new book. It's called the Alps Diet.
The Alps Diet, yeah.
And
there
you
go.
just cannot keep the weight on,
Right.
no matter how much you eat.
Yeah, we both definitely lost weight on this trek, but not surprisingly. We were hiking up to 10 hours a day a couple of times, so that's hard not to do. So what's next, Darren?
So we're going to be going on to the beaches of Normandy, then on to Paris, and then we're going to Iceland.
Right, for 4 days.
So we're excited about
Yeah.
what's still coming up.
We haven't been to Iceland.
a couple more weeks of traveling.
Yeah. So thanks so much, everyone, for following us, and hope you enjoyed this recap, and give us a thumbs up if you liked it, and stay tuned for some more updates from us as we finish up our trip in a couple of weeks. Thanks.